In this video, I'm going to talk about and clear up the biggest misconceptions about the powerful tool of visualization. I'm going to address the questions I see coming up in one on one sessions with my clients, in comments on the videos, and in the emails that I receive. So, if you've heard of how powerful the tool of visualization is and you think that you're bad at it, or even that you can't do it, this video is for you because I'm going to clear all of this up in this video. I'm also going to give you 5 really powerful scenes for manifesting a specific person or love relationship that you can start visualizing today. So, stay with me. I'm going to clear up your biggest questions and perhaps misconceptions, and I'm going to give you some scenes, templates, if you will, that you can start using right away. If you're new here, hello, I am your Muse Traci. I'm so happy you've joined me here. Thank you for clicking on this video. On this channel, I help you unlock the power you already have but can't access. I help you break through where years of trying has failed. And the biggest hurdle of all, I help you go from intellectually knowing the law to permanently embodying it. I spent years being a good person who couldn't quite figure out why her life wasn't reflecting that. When I finally discovered what was actually running the show in my life, everything changed. Now I help people break the patterns keeping them stuck, and I help them to start manifesting the love, the money, the health, and the life they've always known they were meant for. I work with high achievers who want more in every area of their lives, more in love, more in money, more freedom, more success. And visualization is one of the most powerful tools in conscious manifestation. But it is also one of the most misunderstood. I see the same questions and the same blocks come up over and over again in my one on one sessions. So let's clear up these questions and misconceptions so that you can start using this powerful tool with confidence for your manifestation goals. All right. So let's start with the questions. And then I'm going to give you these 5 specific scenes so you can start using them right away. When it comes to manifesting a specific person or romantic relationship, the biggest mistake I see is people visualizing scenes that keep them in the state of wanting instead of having. They visualize the first kiss, the confession of love, the moment their SP comes back and says, I was wrong. All of those scenes are focused on the transition, on getting from here to there, on the moment of receiving. But what did Neville say? Neville said the end is where we begin. And even beyond that, Neville taught that you go past the end in your visualization. And what this involves is mentally occupying the state of your desire being already fulfilled, rather than focus on the process of receiving it or achieving it. By imagining a scene that occurs after your wish is granted, you impress the subconscious with a finished reality, ignoring contradictory current circumstances completely. So, going past the end means you go beyond the state of receiving. You visualize a scene that implies you already have it. So, you're not visualizing the bridge or the receiving of the desire. Let's look at an example. If you want to manifest a new specific car, don't visualize the scene in the dealership signing papers. No, go past that end. Visualize driving to work, your regular route, or some other daily commute that you do, going to the gym, whatever, in your brand new car. This is what past the end means. You normalize it. The most powerful visualization scenes aren't about the moment you get the thing. They're about the state of already having them, the normalcy, the security, the knowing, the completeness. Neville called it living in the end, as we all are familiar with. And it is the difference between visualizing from the state of wanting and visualizing from the state of already having. So, before I get into the scenes, let me answer some of the questions that might be getting in the way of you using this powerful tool. So, common question number one that I hear is I don't think I can visualize because I can't see things clearly. Am I doing it wrong? Maybe I'm just not, I don't have that skill. So, this is probably the most common thing I hear, and I want to address it directly because I think it's stopping a lot of people from using the most powerful tool. So, from using one of the most powerful tools available to them. Visualization does not require you to see a crystal clear movie playing in your mind. That's a myth. The truth is, everyone's brain works differently. Some people are highly visual, and they do see things clearly when they close their eyes. But some people don't. And that doesn't mean they can't visualize. It means their brain works differently. It processes imagination differently. Some people hear things more clearly than they see them. They hear a conversation, they hear the tone of voice, they hear the words being said. Some people feel things more clearly. They feel the warmth of the body next to them. They feel the comfort of the familiar. They feel the security of the relationship in their body. Some people just have a vague sense of knowing, a general impression of the scene without any specific sensory detail. All of these are visualization. All of these are valid. All of these work. The point of visualization is not to create a perfect internal movie. The point is to evoke a feeling state, to bring your body and your consciousness into alignment with the reality you are now claiming. So if you can't see it clearly, hear it, feel it, sense it, know it. Again, choose any one of these or all of them. Any of them are perfect. The feeling is not the picture. And what you really need is a short, simple scene in the first person, present tense, that is easy for your brain to bring up, easy to access, easy to drop into. And most importantly, one that evokes a genuine feeling when you go there. If your scene is too elaborate, too detailed, too hard to remember or construct, simplify it. The simpler the scene, the easier it is to access, and the easier it is to access, the more you can tap into that feeling, which again is what really matters. Question number 2, what if I feel nothing when I visualize? I go through the scene, but I don't feel anything. So this is a great question. This tells me one thing immediately. You need a different scene. The right scene for you is one that evokes a genuine feeling response, not a forced feeling, not something you're manufacturing, a real, spontaneous, embodied feeling that arises naturally when you drop into that scene. If you're feeling nothing, the scene isn't resonating with you and with your nervous system. It might be too generic, too unfamiliar. It might be, I could go on, but the point here is that it's not implying your end is already done enough to give you this feeling, right? If it was implying your end, you'd be feeling it. So try a different scene, something that when you imagine it, even for a moment, produces some kind of warmth, comfort, recognition, or peace in your body. That feeling is the indicator that you've found a really good scene. So I remember trying to visualize big romantic scenes early on in my journey and feeling nothing, actually. It wasn't until I scaled way back to something as simple as sitting in, comfortable silence with someone that I actually felt it. that quiet, warm, this is just normal feeling, that was one of the most powerful scenes for me. It was so simple, specific, but it was so real and evoked like this immense feeling. So again, that's a really good scene to choose. All right, question number 3. How long should I visualize? Well, not for a set amount of time, but rather until you reach the feeling state. That's the only measure that matters here. So it's not a magical 5 minutes, not a magical 10 minutes. There's no magic number of minutes or seconds, right? Or a specific number of loops that is the magic number. No, the magic here is you feeling it. And for some people, that happens in 30 seconds or 5 seconds. For others, it takes a few minutes of settling in and looping the scene over and over. And it will also probably vary from day to day, depending on where you're starting from emotionally. Your only job is to keep going until you feel that feeling, until the feeling arrives. Once you're genuinely in the feeling, you can stay there as long as it feels good, or you can stop and let what you've done be enough and carry on with your day. What you don't want to do is go through the motions of the scene without feeling and call it done. The scene without feeling is just, a scene. The scene with the feeling is manifestation. Question number 4. How often should I visualize? I have 2 answers on this one. First, you should visualize every night as you're falling asleep. This is what Neville called the state akin to sleep. And the hypnagogic state between waking and sleeping is one of the most receptive states for the subconscious mind. What you impress upon your subconscious in those final moments before sleep is extraordinarily powerful. Make your scene the last thing you drop into every night and feel it. Don't forget to feel it. Second, you should do it during the day whenever you notice maybe you're drifting out of the end. Whenever you catch yourself in the state of wanting rather than having, whenever the doubt or the longing or the absence creeps in, that's your cue to return to your scene. Not to force yourself back to positivity, but to gently return to the feeling of the state of the wish fulfilled. Think of it like a compass. You'll drift here and there. Everyone drifts. That's normal. Life is moving, life is happening. But this scene, this visualization technique is how you find your way back. And you basically just use it as often as you need to. Question 5. Should I visualize the same scene every time or switch it up? My recommendation here is the same scene every time. And, there's not just one way to visualize, but this is what I recommend. And here's why. When you repeat the same scene consistently, you're saturating your subconscious mind with a single, clear, specific impression. You're drilling it in. You're making it familiar, making it normal, making it feel like home to your nervous system. If you switch scenes constantly, you're giving your subconscious a variety of impressions rather than one deep, saturated, dominant one. In my opinion, it's much more powerful to just pick one scene that is easy for you to imagine, that clearly implies your end and achieves the feeling state. That's it. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Keep it simple and direct is my recommendation here. That repetition is the power, and returning to the feeling state of it being done again and again is powerful. Don't underestimate that. Question number 6. What if intrusive thoughts come up when I'm visualizing? Or some people ask this, what if my mind wanders, right? So I'm kind of answering both of those questions. And this is another really big one I hear all the time. Again, and you know what? They will. Your mind will wander. I promise you. Your mind will wander in the beginning. This is completely normal and it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. The ability to focus your mind on one scene and one scene only and loop it again and again and again is exactly that, a skill. It will get better and easier with practice. If you're not good at it right away, keep at it. When you notice the intrusive thoughts coming up, stop, remind yourself, you're just looping this scene right now. Everything else can wait until you're done here. With practice, and I mean consistent, patient, gentle practice, your ability to hold the focus will grow. Your mind is a tool and it's like a muscle. The more you strengthen your ability to direct it where you want it to go, the more you'll be able to do that, to direct it where you want it to go on command. But it might take practice in the beginning, especially. Catching and returning is the practice. Every time you catch a drifting thought and bring yourself back, that's a rep. That is you training your mind. That's the work. Be patient with yourself, be consistent, and trust that it gets easier. Before I give you the 5 scenes, I want to pause for a moment because if what I'm sharing is resonating, if you're recognizing yourself in these questions, if you can feel that you've been either avoiding visualization, the powerful tool of visualization, or using in a way that hasn't been creating the shift, this is exactly the work I do with my one-on-one clients. We identify your specific scenes that work for your nervous system. We address the specific blocks that have been getting in the way, and we do the deeper subconscious blueprint work that makes the visualization actually land rather than just keeping it on the surface. If you're ready for that, there's a link in the where is it? In the description and in the pinned comment. You can book a free strategy call with me. Now, just everything you've been waiting for. Let's get into the 5 scenes that you can start using today if you want to manifest a specific person or love relationship. So these are my top 5 suggestions, but remember, pick the one that evokes the strongest feeling for you. Keep it simple. Use it consistently every night, every time you drift, until it feels like a memory. Scene number 1, the mundane moment. The mundane moment. The mundane moment. That's hard to say. The mundane moment. And this is my personal favorite and how I prefer to do it. This is not the romantic scene. This is not, the exciting scene. This is not the Instagram worthy moment. This is the boring, everyday, this is just normal scene. And this is the most powerful scene you can visualize, in my opinion. And here's why. When you visualize the big romantic moments, you're visualizing from excitement, from newness, from I finally got it. But that state is still getting, still in wanting, still in the energy of not having had it. But the mundane moment is different. The mundane moment is you and your SP on a random Tuesday where you're out shopping or getting dinner, some mundane moment that implies that the desire is already yours. Or you're brushing your teeth next to each other in the bathroom. They're making coffee in the morning while you're still half asleep. You're grocery shopping together and debating what to make for dinner. These scenes feel boring, and that's exactly why they're powerful. Because boring means normal. Normal means this is just how it is. This is your life. There's no excitement of, oh my God, I finally have them. There's just, this is us. This is our relationship. This is a Tuesday. And that state, that's the state of having, that's the state of it's already done. When you visualize the mundane moment, you're not in the energy of trying to get. You're in the energy of already having. You're living in the end, not the transition to the end, the actual end. Scene number 2, them thinking about you. The second powerful visualization scene is visualizing your specific person's perspective, specifically them thinking about you. Now, before I walk you through this scene, I want to explain something important about why this works, because most people misunderstand it entirely. This is not about sending your thoughts out to your SP to make them think about you. You're not trying to influence a separate person from the outside. Neville taught that everyone is you pushed out. Your SP is not a separate being acting independently of your consciousness. The version of them you experience is a projection of your own inner world, which means when you visualize them thinking about you, you're not trying to change them. You are selecting the version of them that already exists in the parallel reality where they are thinking about you. They're always thinking about you. Where they already desire you, where thinking about you constantly is simply who they are in that reality. You are aligning with that version, not creating it, not manipulating it. You are selecting it. Scene number 3, the assumption confirmed. The third powerful visualization scene is what I call the assumption confirmed. This is where you visualize a scene that confirms your assumption is now fact. You've assumed your SP is yours. You've assumed they're devoted to you. You've assumed the relationship is solid. But if you're still visualizing, trying to convince them, trying to get them to see you differently, trying to make them choose you, you're not in the assumption. You're in hoping. The assumption confirmed scene is something different entirely. This is where you visualize other people reflecting back your assumption as fact. For example, you visualize your friend asking, "Hey, how's your specific person?" as if it's obvious you're already together. You could visualize a family member saying, "When are you bringing your SP to dinner?" as if it's a given. You visualize running into someone who says, "Oh, I didn't know you two were together," and you casually confirm it. These scenes aren't about you and your SP. They're about the world around you reflecting that your SP is already yours. And this is powerful because it takes you out of the trying energy. You're not trying to convince your SP. You're not trying to convince yourself. The relationship already is. You're getting confirmation by the world around you. Other people are reflecting it back to you. And when you visualize from this place, when you feel into the world already knowing you're together, you're in the end completely. There's no more hoping and there's no more waiting. Scene number 4, physical touch and intimacy. The fourth powerful visualization scene is physical touch and intimacy. And I'm not talking about sex, although you can include that if you want, and it can be a very powerful one. But I'm talking about the casual physical intimacy that comes with being in a secure relationship. Their hand on your leg as you're sitting next to one another, your head on their shoulder while you're watching something, their arm around you while you're standing in line, the kiss on your forehead, the hug from behind while you're cooking, holding hands while you're walking. This level of physical touch, casual, natural, unthinking, that is definitely the state of having and the state of normalcy and comfortability, not excitement and thrill of just receiving. No, it's normal. So visualize the casual intimacy. Feel their touch as normal, as natural, as just part of your everyday life together. Feel the security of that, the comfort, and the knowing. That's the state you want to live from. Scene number 5, the future as fact. The fifth powerful visualization scene is the future as fact. This is where you visualize a scene that's further off in the future, not tomorrow, not next week, months or even years from now. Neville talks about, visualize your 5-year anniversary, right? So you visualize it as if it's just obvious, just fact, just a natural progression of the relationship. For example, you can visualize yourself at a family gathering a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Your SP is there with you and they're talking with your family like they've known them for forever. It's just normal. Or you visualize moving in together, unpacking boxes, deciding where furniture goes. This is just the next step. No drama, no uncertainty, no heightened level of excitement. Just, yeah, this is what's happening. These future scenes do something powerful. They bypass all the doubt about whether this is going to work out. Because if you're visualizing a year from now, 5 years from now, and you're still together, then obviously everything between now and then works out. You're not focused on the how, you're assuming it. You're not worried about the steps, you're just assuming it. You're already just in the future where it's already done. I think this is also what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls remembering your future. You're not hoping for the future, you're remembering it as a fact. And that takes all the pressure off the present moment. You're not anxiously waiting to see if they'll text today because you know that a year from now, you're already together. So obviously they're going to text. Obviously they're going to come back. Obviously it's going to work out. The future as fact removes the doubt from this present moment. And when you remove the doubt, when you're certain of the end, the path unfolds effortlessly. So visualize the future months from now, years from now. See yourself and your specific person in that future together, secure, established, and feel into the knowing that if that's where you're going to be, then everything between now and then is already sorted, already handled. That's the power of this scene. So, those are the 5 powerful visualization scenes for manifesting your specific person or a romantic relationship. Pick the one that feels most alive to you, the one you're most drawn to, the one that when you imagine it, even faintly, produces some kind of warmth or recognition or peace in your body. That's your scene. Keep it simple. Use it every night as you fall asleep. Return to it every time you drift throughout the day. And then trust the process, knowing that your job is to select your preference and then stay there without wavering or contradicting your selection. Knowing at the deepest level that you are the operant power of your reality and that reality is following you. Maybe thing. This is how reality creation works. And it's your birthright to use this ability to select and align. And visualization is simply a tool to help you keep returning to that knowing until it becomes so natural, so saturated, so deeply impressed upon your subconscious that it becomes your reality. If this resonated with you and you're ready to take this deeper to shift not just your visualization practice, but the root frequency and self concept underneath it, that's the work I do with my clients. You can still book a free strategy call with me. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you guys for joining me here. See you in the next one.